Good morning, students. And let's start. Let's see the information of the lecture first. Class 9th, subject English, and the book we are reading is Behive. And today, students will read the poem number second. The name of the poem is Wind, written by Subramanya Bharati. The name of the poem is Wind, students. Wind actually refers to the challenges, adversities, or the problems in one's life, right? Like it is going to differentiate the strong one and the weaklings or weak one, basically, right? So it is a natural phenomena, the wind actually, and it has been compared it has been compared to the challenges or the adversity to the life. Let's just see what do we find in this. The wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. How can we make friends with it? By reading this line, what does poet want to convey? This that the wind blows strongly. The blowing of the wind, sometimes it is very strong and it causes a lot of destruction in the human being's life. Like the challenges or adversities or the problems in human beings' life, the strong ones face the problems or challenges in a strong way, in a very determined or in a very convicted way, but the weaks break down. Try to understand the meaning of the poem, students. This is really related to our life. This is teaching us a lesson, basically. How should we be strong enough to take the challenges of life? At every step of our life, we face the challenges. And some of the people who are strong enough means who are quite determined, who are quite convicted, or like having the strong willpower. Such type of people basically we find can face the challenges or the adversity of the life. But the weaklings, the weaks break down, fall down, and they are not able to face the challenges, and because of that they are depleted over there. So the wind is just teaching us like we should be the strong one. Once we become the strong one, we can make friends with it. Means like we can become a friend of it. That means we need to be strong enough, we need to have a determination, and then we need to go ahead. Right? So see, students, let's start the poem. Wind comes softly. Wind comes softly. It is students actually. The someone is the poet is addressing this and asking it to come softly. Wind, come softly. Poet is saying to this, come softly. Don't come so fast or so destructive, right? Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. Shelf, right? There, look what you did. You threw them all down. This is the next. So let's just read. The one actually the poet is addressing to the wind and asking it. I'm using it here, it basically students. A poet has given something else that will come before us and we'll see what sort of thing has been used by the poet. And there I'll explain you the rest of the things. So the poet is saying, wind, come softly, asking it to come softly, don't break the shutters. Poet is asking it not to break the shutters of the windows because when it comes too far, very fast, it breaks the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Scatter means like to spread here and there, right? Don't scatter the papers. The poet is asking it not to scatter the papers here and there, right? Don't scatter the papers here and there. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. And the poet is asking to it not to throw down the books from the shelf, as books are set in the shelf. And sometime when it blows very destructive and throw down the books from the shelf. So the poet is asking it or requesting it not to throw down the books on the shelf. So see, in the first stanza, students, it is, though it is not in the stanza, for 3 or 4 lines we have read it. So what we found, the poet is asking it not to spread the destruction or like create the problem for the people. Now you see what happens next. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. The things basically poet was talking, poet was asking it. There is actually, it is a talk between the wind and the poet students in the poem basically. And there what is happening, poet is saying there, look what you did. You threw them all down. Means like the books from the shelf and the papers you scattered. You just threw them all down, the books. You tore the pages of the books. The books means the wind was very strong and it tore down the pages of the books. And you brought rain again. You see, the poet is saying you have brought rain again. Very destructive. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Here, a student is referring like the wind is making fun. Poking fun means making fun of. The wind is making fun at weaklings. Weakling refers to the weak people who are not strong enough to face the challenges of life, right? Weeks. So you're very clever at poking fun at weaklings, right? So the wind is making fun of the weak people, and the strong people can face it very easily. It means the challenges of the life or the adversities in the life are there in the weak people, and weaklings just fall down or like they face the problems, but the strong people can face it. And the wind is making fun of the weak people, right? Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. So frail refers like students, weak, easily damaged or broken, right? And crumbling means to break or break something into very small pieces. Frail means weak, easily damaged, means the houses which are very weak, frail, crumbling houses like into small pieces, and crumbling doors. The doors of the houses are also broken down into small pieces by the wind. Crumbling rafters like students, roof support wood, like sloping beams are used to support the roof. You must have seen at your homes, right? Before having this sort of things like the roofs were given support of the beams, and this has this wind has broken down the rafters, means the beams, into small pieces. Crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts, means it is breaking down everything. This is becoming very strong. The wind is very strong, though it shouldn't be. The poet is just asking it to be, or it is asking to the people also to be strong enough to face the challenges of the life. Right, everyone? If any one of you has got any sort of problem, you can just note it down in your notebook, or like you can enter on your book. And later, when we have enough time to just have cross questioning, there you people can just ask anything you want to ask. Now the next, the wind god winnows and crushes them all. The wind god, the wind has been called the god also. God, the wind god winnows. Winnows means students blow grain free of chaff. Chaff is the outer part or the sort of dust or like some unwanted particles which are with grains, and the wind god. Winnows means like to separate grain from husk by blowing on it. The chef is called the unwanted sort of things or particles basically with the grains. So wind god knows and crushes them all. Crushes them all means separates this from the grain. Like the strong people will remain there, but the weak people will fall down and crushed will be crushed them, right? So this is all what we get here. That means we need to be very much strong enough to face the challenges of the life. He won't do what you tell him. Now this is quite different. Like he won't do, who? The wind basically refers, or like you can see it as a personification, given a referring to the, like comparing the human beings. He won't do what you tell him, means whatever you say to wind, it won't do anything. It won't do anything basically. So come, let's build strong homes. Now, the poet is suggesting us, like, let's just come. It won't stop whatever we say, though we just need to make our homes strong enough to just face it, or to just be determined, basically. So the poet is just suggesting us, like, we need to be strong enough to face the challenges. Let's join the doors firmly. And the poet is saying, like, we just need to join the doors of the homes firmly. Firm means like it refers like strongly. So we need to just join the doors very firmly, means we need to be strong enough to face the challenges. We need to be strong mentally as well as physically to face the challenges and adversities of life. Like the homes, we need to make strong. We need to make our mind as well as body also strong to face the challenges. Practice to form the body. And practice to form the body refers like you need to be strong enough. You need to make your body strong to, you need to practice to make the body strong to face the challenges of the life. If any sort of adversities or any sort of problem falls in your life or befall, you need to be ready to just face the challenges of the life, students. So ultimately, what we understand through this poem, students, that it is dealing with us that we need to be strong enough so that we can face the challenges of the life, right? We need to practice enough to be firm, the body, make the heart steadfast. Steadfast, again, firm means strong enough. We need to make our heart strong enough to just take the challenges. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. Now the point is saying if you do this, basically, the things like you make your body strong, you join the doors firmly, or like you make your heart very steadfast, like strong enough to face the challenges, the wind will become the friend of yours. It will become friend. It will not create any sort of harassment or like any sort of destruction to you. The wind blows out weak fires. Weak fires means the weak people basically. The weak people are there, it can blow them out, means the problems or the challenges in the life or the steadfast work basically. Blow means it can throw them out. They won't be able to face it or stand first. He makes strong fires roar. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. He refers to like if the one is trying to be strong. So roar means to make very loud, deep sound. And flourish. Flourish means to develop, to grow, to go ahead. Right? So it just refers like, so here what happens, he makes a strong fires roar and flourish. This wind as it comes, it makes a strong fires means when it blows very fast and it makes too much. Roar means like sound, very deep and loud sound, and flourish means to go ahead. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. So, see, students, what we understand by this, we understand that if the one becomes very strong, will be able to face the challenges of the life. His friendship is good enough, means if you are strong enough, you take the challenges or make well experienced to do this, you'll be able to face it. We praise him every day and we just appreciate it or admire it every day, right? Though it doesn't understand, then we just need to make ourselves strong enough to take the challenges of the life, right? Just have a patience, students, of a minute. What we understand by this that through this poem we understand that we need to be strong enough to take the challenges of the life, to face the challenges. As the poet is just giving examples through the wind or the homes, we need to make strong to face it whenever there is a strong wind so that it can stand determined or it shouldn't fall down or its body means the arm's body should remain strong enough. Like we just need to make our heart, our mind, and our physical body very strong to face the challenges and to overcome over these challenges in our life. Right, everyone? So this is the poem we have understood. Now you need to understand one thing, students. This poem is written in 3 words. No rhyming scheme is there in this poem. Just note it down that this poem is written in 3 words. No rhyming scheme is used in this poem. And the next one is you need to see the poetic devices used here in the poem. Let me just see if I be able to see or highlight this. First is anaphora, students. I hope you can understand. I told you that earlier also. When the lines start with the same word, see, don't break, don't scatter, don't throw. And the next one is you tore, you brought, you are very clever. So starting with you, and that is starting with don't, this is called anaphora. Anaphora is a poetic device, a word repeated at the first of the lines. First word of the line is repeated and that goes the same. So anaphora, anaphora. This is called anaphora basically, students. So you all need to understand when you are going to write this and any poetic device is asked, you need to tell this anaphora, right? The next one is personification. As you must have seen, he or his is used in the poem. That is the personification of wind, right? He won't do what you tell him. So he and him, this is the wind basically. If you say anything or you ask anything to the wind, it won't do anything, right? So you just need to understand, you just need to see, this is called the personification. Wind has been personified with he or his like human beings. Next is students, repetition is used. There is a word crumbling. You all can understand this is the word crumbling. How many times this word is used? That means it is just repeated. So what we understand that we just need to see this crumbling refers to the repetition of the word. This is called the repetition. Repetition is also one of the poetic devices. Repetition. And the next one is students, alliteration. Alliteration means in a particular line, any consonant word is just repeated. Consonant sound, sorry, not word. Consonant sound is repeated. Like you go to the next line after grumbling, that wind, the wind, and then winnows. W sound is repeated, that is consonant sound. And the next one also want and w sound and what. That means if you ever find the consonant sound repeated in the line, that is called the alliteration. The use of the same letter or sound at the beginning of word that are close together, that's called alliteration, students, right? This is what I have told you. So you just need to understand that this poem is very interesting and very like knowledgeable. We need to understand to be strong enough to take the challenges of the life, which will help us to just understand the things. Okay, students. That's enough for today's lecture. If any one of you wants to ask anything, just can raise your hand. I'll see if there is any doubt with any one of you. That'll be good enough if there is any, or if there isn't any sort of doubt, you can go ahead. Right, everyone? Thank you very much for joining the class.